Hi, I'm Julie Butler, and I am the Achievement Coach at Butler Elementary School in Canyon School District. I'm giving the brief today on Hazelwood School District versus Kuhlmeier. This case was heard in 1988 by the United States Supreme Court. Here are the facts of the case. Hazelwood East High School, as part of its Journalism 2 class, published a school newspaper about every 3 weeks, which was then distributed to the students, the staff, and the community at large. This newspaper was called The Spectrum and was written and edited by the students in this journalism class. The school principal reviewed and approved each publication before it was sent to the printers. In 1983, the very last edition of The Spectrum was sent to the principal for review before it was sent to the printers. And during the review, the principal was concerned with 2 stories. One story was about teenage pregnancy. There were 3 students at the time at the high school that were pregnant, and although the names had been changed to fake names, the principal felt that given the information in the story, that students would be able to determine who the pregnant students were. The other story was about divorce, and a student had been interviewed, and as part of the story, it included derogatory information about this particular student's father. The father had not been notified that the story was going to print, and had not been interviewed either. So he hadn't been able to give his side of the story. The principal felt that these privacy issues were big enough and a concern enough to him that he decided to delete these 2 stories from the newspaper. He didn't just delete these stories, he just took the whole page that they were on and determined that he would not send these 2 pages to print. So anything that was on those 2 pages, whether it was advertisements or any other story, I think that there were 6 altogether that were deleted from this particular issue. So there are a couple questions here. The first question or issue is whether the Spectrum can be appropriately characterized as a forum for public expression, since it was published written and published by the school as part of the journalism class, and the school board provided funds for it to be published. Also, does it possess the same attributes that we typically associate with First Amendment rights of free speech, like city streets or parks? The second question concerns educators' authority of school-sponsored publications or theatrical productions or other expressive activities. Should the school district be able to control the content of any kind of school publication or presentation? So the court decided in favor of Hazelwood School District, and their rationale was, first of all, the court found that the Spectrum was part of the regular curriculum in the classroom, and that the school officials didn't deviate from the practice or the policy that they regularly implemented here in this particular case. Also, they found that the teacher had authority and did in fact exercise a great deal of control over the newspaper. The school did not demonstrate any intent to open the pages of the newspaper for indiscriminate use by the students, and they used it as intended as part of a learning experience for journalism. The second question, the rationale was that educators are entitled to exercise control over the form of student expression to ensure that minor age listeners are not exposed to inappropriate material for the level of their maturity, and to ensure that the views of the speaker are not attributed to the school itself. So a school must be able to set high standards for student speech that's disseminated, especially when its name is attached to it. And so it concluded that students, they had not sufficiently mastered this portion of the journalism curriculum that pertained to the treatment of controversial issues, personal attacks, and the need to protect privacy of the individual. So the court said Tinker did not apply in this case, and they ruled in favor of Hazelwood School District.